Hello everyone, myself Deepa Singh, working as Assistant Professor in Gyan Mehar School of Pharmacy, SGU, Jaipur. Today we discuss about parental product or continue previous lecture. In previous lecture, we already discussed that introduction part of the parental product, including advantages, disadvantages, applications, and the formulation parameter. In this, we covered different excipient that are used for the parental formulations, and mainly introduction part we already covered in the previous lecture. Today we continue this parental product, and in this parental product we covered formulation of injection, sterile powder, large volume and small volume parenterals. Means how you formulate a small volume as well as large volume. Previous lecture we already covered that classification of this parental product in this large volume and small volume. These are the two types, and according to this small volume and large volume, we already discussed that the definition part and difference part. So today we discuss about the formulation parameter, means how you formulate these small volume and large volume parenteral, and formulation for injection and sterile powder. So all these topics we covered in this lecture. This is a topic of the pharmacy 5th semester industry pharmacy 1 subject. Before starting this subject, this topic, you should know about basic objects. These are the learning outcome that you should know. First is what are the parental dosage form, definition or description part of the parental product. Second is what are the various type of parental dosage form. In this type, because in this, if you don't know about the type, then you don't understand the how to manufacture these parental product or different manufacturing of parental product. Next is what are the formulation consideration of parental. We already discussed that some typical or extra condition is required for manufacturing of parental products. So in this, you should know about which condition is suitable or which condition you maintain for the manufacturing and formulation of these parental products. Next is how different parental dosage form are prepared. How we prepare these dosage form or different parental dosage form. Detail about the large and small volume parenterals. Complete description or in detail description of both small and large volume parenterals. These are the learning objectives. And in this, first is a large volume parenteral. Previous lecture, we already see the difference between these formulation. Large volume means having a more volume from the starting 101 to 1000 ml, and this is a mainly single use and don't have a preservative. And in this mainly use some nutrients, electrolytes, and supplements with the help of these large volume parenteral. So requirements in this large volume parenteral, it is a sterile, non-pyrogen free from the particulate matter. Means it should be proper sterile condition because you are administering by parenteral route, so it is a very susceptible to show any disease or any infection. So it should be in a proper sterile condition, don't have any pyrogen as well as any foreign particle or unwanted particle, free from particulate matter, and the volume is 101 to 1000 ml because it's in large volume parenteral. That's why large volume capacity is starting from 101 to 1000 ml. Next, single dose unit. These large volume parenterals are mainly single dose unit or single time use because there's a less medicament or less multi-dose formulation. It is mainly electrolytes, nutrients, and some supplements. And next is no preservative. Because it's in single in use, there's no preservatives required, no contamination is observed. There's less chances to bacterial growth because in single use your formulation gets finished. So there is no chances to store, and during storage it may chance that some bacterial growth takes place. So in this condition, it has have no preservative. Next is a clear solution except fat emulsion. It also have a clear solution and there's no fat emulsion or clear solution. And next is isotonic but hypertonic also. It is an isotonic as well as hypertonic in nature. Means you maintain the isotonicity according to your body. You should require high isotonic solution, but in some situation you should prepare hypertonic, or some specific condition you prepare hypertonic and also administered in PPA. So it should be in a isotonic, means majorly it should be in isotonic, but in some formulation, some condition, it should be hypertonic in nature. And next is a type of large volume parenterals. In this, there's a 4 types for this large volume parenteral. First is a hyperalimentation solution. Second is a peritoneal dialysis solution. And next is Paget solution, and fourth one is irrigating solution. So these are the four subtypes of this large volume parenteral, or these large volume parenterals are available in these four different types. Now we discuss this one by one. First is a hyperalimentation solution. This hyperalimentation solution is mainly admin of large volume nutrients to patients unable to take the food orally. Means some person are suffering from severe condition or any disease, so that he or she don't take food orally or don't supply the food orally. Then to fulfill these nutrient or food supplement, you given this hyperalimentation solution to those patients who do not take orally or don't unable to take food or any other nutrient from orally. And it is a large volume parenteral or large nutrient containing formulation. And formulation mix dextrose, amino acids, lipids of electrolytes and vitamins. Means in this you can say that different nutrients or different molecules are present in this. It contains dextrose or mixture of a dextrose, as well as amino acids, lipids of electrolytes and vitamins. So these are the contained or ingredients of this hyperalimentation solution. And this is mainly given to those patients who have a severe condition and don't take the food by oral route or unable to take food orally. So, and next in this total parenteral nutrition for this hyperalimentation solution, a method of feeding patient by infusing a mixture of all necessary nutrients in the circulatory system, but bypassing the GI. Means according to definition, you can say that you supply all nutrient or feeding all the material that is required, or infusing the mixture or all nutrients into a circulatory system or into a circulation, but these bypassing the GIT or maybe bypass to directly GIT, not by oral route. So in definition, it is one of the feeding method or feeding to the patient by infusing the mixture, or that mixture contain different nutrients or all necessary nutrient into a circulatory system, and these feeding is directly reaches bypassing your GIT, not in your circulation. Next, and this is the content and source, which are the content which source is required for that particular content. In this, first is calories. Calories source is dextrose. Second is nitrogen, source is crystalline amino acid. Third is electrolyte, is sodium, potassium chloride, and PO4. Next is vitamins. In this, water soluble and fat soluble vitamins. Elements in this, traces of zinc, Cu, Mn, and Cr. These are some elements or traces of elements. So these are the sources that are used for preparing of this hyperalimentation solution, or providing all nutrients which is required for the body, or feeding to patient who don't take the food by oral route, and these are directly bypassing to the GIT. It is an infusing mixture of different nutrients. Next, second in large volume parenterals is cardioplegic solution. Cardioplegic solution is the large volume parenteral used in a heart surgery to prevent injury to myocardium during perfusion. Means it is a large volume parenteral, and this is also have a specific purpose of a specific use. This is used for that particular purpose, that if a person have a heart surgery or to prevent the surgery in the myocardium during refraction. So in this condition, you use this hyperdiaplegic solution if he or she is suffering from or in the heart surgery, or there may be chances of myocardium infarction. So for prevention of this perfusion, you use this cardioplegic solution or to prevent this injury, and as well as to maintain the bloodless operating flow. Means less blood is flow, or there may be chances that bloodless operation is observed or done bloodless observation operation by using this solution, and maintain the diastolic arrest. It is also maintain some condition, some diastolic arrest of your body or of your heart. Next is a slightly alkaline to compensate metabolic acidosis. It is alkaline in taste. It is not acidic in taste, but it's alkaline in taste. Due to this alkaline taste, it compensates metabolic acidosis is observed and hypertonic in nature. And use of this is to minimize the reperfusion injury, means during heart surgery or heart operation. It minimize some risk or minimize the reperfusion injury which occur in myocardial part of your heart. So this is the hypertonic solution, and next is peritoneal dialysis solution. It is the next third type or third part of large volume parenteral peritoneal dialysis solution, and in this peritoneal dialysis solution, infused continuously into abdominal cavity are continuously withdrawn. Means these solutions are for also some specific purpose like previous one, and this is infused continuously or continuous infusion takes place into the abdominal cavity or into your abdomen and continuous withdraw. And use of this peritoneal dialysis solution is to remove the toxic substance from your body or to aid accelerate acceleration of the normal and to treat acute renal insufficiency. Means this is also one continuous infusion method, or you continuously infuse this solution into your abdominal cavity and it continuously excrete out or withdraw out from your body. And for when we see the uses of this formulation, there's a specific uses. Means you can remove some toxic substance from your body if you eat some toxic material, suppose, or some toxic material present in your body, then in this condition you remove this toxic material from your body. Next is to aid and excrete excretion normal, means also to maintain or some condition maintain to excrete out material normally from your body, and to treat acute renal insufficiency. If you have a problem like renal insufficiency, so with the help of the solution, you also cure this acute renal insufficiency. Next is irrigating solution. This is the fourth type of this large volume parenterals, and this fourth type is first irrigate, flush, and aid in cleansing of body activity and bounce. Means it is mainly used for condition or maybe some internal condition, but majorly used for some cleaning purpose or to irrigate or flush or aid in cleaning body activities and bounds. If you have a bound or some body activity or flushing or irrigating, then use this irrigating solution. And certain IV solution like normal saline may be used as irrigating solution. In this condition, it may be also used for IV solutions or some formulation preparation or normal saline formulation by IV route. And but solution design as an irrigating solution should not be used parenterally, but when you prepare or design the solution as an irrigating solution, then you do not use the parenterally, use only external purpose. And the use of this irrigating solution is for treatment of a serious bound infused in the bloodstream. Means some serious infection or serious bound infused in your blood stream or into your body or into come in contact with your bloodstream. So in this condition, we use this irrigating solution for treatment of a serious bound infused in the body stream. So these are the four types of large volume parenterals. And this is the example of a large volume parenterals. So this is the mainly nutrients that you used in your large volume parenteral. This is a common name, and this is a concentration, and next is a therapeutic use. So these are the large volume parenteral available in the market or their name. And in this first is the dextrose injection. In this dextrose injection, common name is glucose, and concentration is this 5, 10, 20, and 50%. There's available in different concentration, maybe 5%, 10%, 20%, or 50%. Next is a therapeutic use. In therapeutic use, fluid and caloric supplement. Glucose already supply some nutrients on calories, so it is mainly used for fluid and caloric supplement. And next is NaCl injection. And common name of this NaCl injection is normal saline solution, and concentration is 0.9 to 3.5%. There's two concentration available. And it is also have the same like fluid supplement or electrolyte supplement, but due to this NaCl presence, it also supplies some nutrients or fulfill the deficiency of nutrients. And third is a Ringer solution. Common name is your Ringer solution, and concentration in this it is available in different nutrients and electrolytes. In this, NaCl concentration is 0.86%, KCl concentration is 0.03%, and the calcium chloride is 0.033%. So these are the concentration of sodium chloride, potassium chloride, and calcium chloride for in the solution. And it is also a same use for therapeutic purpose, fluid and electrolyte supplement. Next is a lactose ringer injection. And this is also known as common name Hartmann. And in this have a different concentration for different nutrients or electrolytes. In this, sodium chloride is 0.6%, potassium chloride is 0.03%, and calcium chloride is 0.02%, and sodium lactate is 0.3%. So these are the concentration for this lactate ringer injection. And the use is systemic alkalizer, fluid, electrolyte replacer, means one more advantage is like it is used as a systemic alkalizer or helps to alkalize the system, and as well as fluid as electrolyte repulsor. Next in this, fifth one is a mannitol injection. Common name is same, and concentration is 5, 10, 15, and 20% concentration is available. And therapeutic uses is osmotic diuretics, or mainly used for osmotic diuretics. Next, sixth one is IV fed emulsion, and a common name is also same, and it is available in 3 concentration: 10, 15, and 20%. And therapeutic use is calorie. It mainly used to provide the calories in your body. So these are the example of large volume parenteral or some formulation that is available for as a large volume parenteral with their uses, concentration, and common name. Next, we discuss a small volume parenteral. We come to the next type, that is small volume parenteral. And a small volume intravenous injection is applied to the injection that packed in a container labeled as a containing 100 ml or less. We already discussed that introduction part in previous lecture. So these are the formulation which is mainly for multiple use or come in the market for a small volume parenteral or less than 100 ml or up to 100 ml volume. So these are the intravenous injection or small volume intravenous injection that is applied in an injection form and packed in a container. And this is container packing is depend on the type of the formulation, and label of this container is containing 100 ml or less. Next is types of small volume parenteral. So it is also again divided into four types. Large volume is also divided into 4 parts that we have previously discussed: irrigating, cardiogenic solution, and irrigating solution. So these 4 types we already discussed for large volume parenteral, and this small volume parenteral is also divided into 4 types or 4 category. In this, first is solution. Solution is also available, a solution form available for this small volume parenterals, and second is suspension, third one is emulsion, and fourth one is a dry powder. So these are the 4 types for small volume parenteral, or this small volume parenteral is available in the 4 different types: solution, suspension, emulsion, and dry powder. Now we discuss this one by one. First is a solution. You know that solution, it is in liquid form, and it is available in a solution condition, and you should know the uses. It has multiple uses for small volume parenteral, and in this solution typically used for delivering the medicament at controlled infusion rate. When suppose you are delivering some medicament or some medicine at a particular purpose, so this administration of a drug is a controlled manner or slowly manner when you infuse with the help of this solution or small volume parenteral. And next is most commonly solution of a 5% dextrose, normal saline solution, and 45% normal saline, or 5% dextrose with normal saline. So these are the concentration of solution. It also have a different nutrients or different ingredients, and in this mainly use dextrose in 5%. And if you are preparing normal saline solution, and then 45% will vary for normal saline solution and 5% with normal saline. So these are the different concentration according to your formulation of solution for small volume parenteral. And next is dextrose contribute glucose to meet energy, and saline contributes sodium. And electrolyte that maintain fluid balance and cellular function. So these are the ingredients that present in your solution or having in your solution. If you are adding dextrose, so dextrose helps to meet the glucose level or fulfill the glucose condition or need or provide the energy in your body. Next is the saline. In this, saline is contribute to sodium or sodium fulfill or deficiently fulfilled by the help of saline, because saline contains sodium to contribute for sodium. And electrolyte that maintain the fluid balance. If you are using some electrolyte, and then in this condition, these electrolyte maintain the fluid balance or maintain the electrolyte condition in your body, and fluid also in a balanced condition, and cellular function is also in work properly, or cellular function is good observed with the help of this electrolyte. Next, second type is a suspension after solution. They should be sterile, pyrogen-free, stable, and pre-susceptible, syringeable, injectable, isotonic, and non-irrigating. So these are the conditions when you are preparing suspension, because it have a multiple use or multiple purpose. You don't use in a single dose. So there may be chances that during after one dose or single dose using, when you store your formulation or suspension, there may be chances that it easily degrade or some microbial process takes place. Or it is a suspension in nature, so particle that suspend or not properly showing the solution. So after preparing this solution, this suspension for small volume parameter, to check some parameter, and in this it should be in a sterile condition. You sterile the suspension properly, or it should be free from bacteria or pyrogen free. There's no pyrogen present. If pyrogen is present, then it causes serious or dangerous effect, or there may be chances that the patient lost their life also. So it should be sterile or properly sterile condition, including container as well as formulation, and no pyrogen is present in your formulation. It should be pyrogen free and stable or resuspendable. Means stability of your formulation is also stable condition, or you formulate stable formulation. You don't observe phase separation or any stability problem during storage or during applying or administration. It always been a stable condition or uniform condition. And next is resuspendable, syringeable, easily to administer in syringe or in injection. Injectable means suspension have some particle which is suspended in your formulation. So these particle easily administered or injectable in nature, or syringeable in nature means you can fill your syringe with your suspension as well as easily inject this formulation. So this is also in syringeable and injectable in nature. Next is isotonic and non-irrigating solution, means it maintain the isotonicity of your body or maintain the formulation isotonic in nature according to requirement or according to your body tonicity. So it this should be isotonic in nature. If it's not in isotonic in nature, then there may be chances that it affect RBC. It may be in a swell condition or it may be burst. And next is it's a non-irritating condition. So in this, it should not be in a non-irritating condition or non-irritated after administration, because after administration some formulation shows some irritation, swelling, or any side effect. So it should be non-irritating condition or injectable or injectable or isotonic in nature. Next, in this, they are usually administered by either subcutaneous or intramuscular route. Means these are majorly administered by IM or SC injections, or these type of a tool that are used for administration of the suspension according to different disease. And the next is that these suspension are usually contained between 0.5 to 5% solid, means concentration of a particle or concentration of solid material which is present in suspension is very less, that is 0.5 to 5% solid is present in your suspension, or concentration is normally 0.5 to 5%, and should have a particle size less than 5 micrometer. Means these particles which is suspended your solution, your suspension or your formulation or solid particle have a very small in diameter or small in size, and diameter is only 5 micrometer for the suspension, and this is administered by IM or SC injection, means intramuscular as well as subcutaneous injection. And certain antibiotic preparation, for example, protein, that is penicillin G, may contain up to 30% solid. Means in exceptional cases or some formulation which is have more concentration, except this 0.5 to 5%. There's one example like protein penicillin G formulation have a more concentration of a solid particle. This is up to 30%, and it is a antibiotic preparation. So these concentration of a solid particle is also vary depending on the type of the formulation, but standard limit is 0.5 to 5% solid present in a particle, and particle size should be smaller than 5 micron, and this formulation is mainly administered by intramuscular and subcutaneous route. Next, in suspension, for small volume parenteral for injection, contain less than 5% of a drug solid with mean particular diameter is 5 to 10 micrometer. Means you should maintain a particle size less than 5% and diameter vary from 5 to 10 micrometer. And during the manufacturing of suspension, injection component are prepared, sterilized, and separately aseptically combined. Means a manufacturing condition is should maintain, or a suspension should be maintained as sterile condition. And for manufacturing of these suspension for injection, you prepare the component. Component are prepared and sterilized separately. Means each and every component is prepared, and after each and every component preparation, you sterilize each and every step or every component that you use in your suspension formulation. And after sterilizing each and every component, you mix this component aseptical condition or aseptically, so there may be less chances or don't have any contamination is observed when you sterilize individual component. And after sterilizing individual component, you mix this component in a aseptic condition. Next, in this, the final product cannot be filtered, sterilized, owing to presence of a particle in the formulation. Means during the final stage or your final formulation of product, that is the suspension, you filter out or sterilize, and owing the presence of a particle in the formulation, and check there is any particle is present or any unwanted or foreign particle is present or not in your formulation. And next is a powder for use in a sterile suspension can be sterilized by gas, residue must be avoided. The sterilized condition it should be maintained or use properly sterilized condition. For powder use, the sterilized suspension can be sterilized by gas, and residue must be avoided. And in next, in suspension, active suspension given by intramuscular and subcutaneous route, and concentration of these solids should be 0.5 to 5%. Particle sizes less than 10 micron, and drug is continuously dissolving, replacing the loss. As drug is continuously dissolved or replaced with new solution, or this process is continuously done. And concentration is depending on the type of the disease. It may vary from 0.5 to 5%, and size is less than 10 micron. And this is given by IM or SC injection. And for oral soluble drug, only crystalline and stable polymorphic drug are given by form. Means some oil soluble drug. Previous point is for active suspension or water soluble suspension. But if you are preparing oil soluble drug or oily in nature suspension, then only crystalline and stable polymorphic drug are given by this form. Means for oil soluble drug, you used only crystalline form or stable polymorphic drug form of the formulation, and this is given by viscosity builder and can be used as crystalline zinc insulin. For example of this oil soluble drug formulation for suspension is crystalline zinc insulin, and this is also viscosity builder. Yeah, and the property is also viscosity builders. So these are the two suspension: active suspension and oil soluble suspension absorption drug. And there is some difference. And oil soluble you use only crystalline or stable polymorphic form, and in this there are solid particle, the specific size and specific diameter. Next is oil suspension. It is given by IM route process of drug availability consists of a dissolution of a drug particle followed by partitioning of a drug from oil solution to aqueous medium. Means the active solution is given by IM or SC injection. We already see previous slide, both intramuscular and subcutaneous. But this oily suspension is given by only intramuscular route. And when you given or administer or inject this oily suspension by intramuscular route, there is more viability is observed and consists of more viability. And these particles also show dissolution or dissolution rate is observed with good viability condition, and these followed by partitioning of the drug from oil solution to aqueous medium. Means that this oil solution suspension is converted to aqueous suspension or followed to oil solution to aqueous medium. Next, more prolonged drug action is compared to oil solution and as well as aqueous suspension. Means the more effect of prolonged effect is observed as compared to oil solution and aqueous suspension. An example, penicillin G protein and vegetable oil in suspension form. When we compare oil and aqueous solution suspension, then more effect or more prolonged effect is observed with the help of this oil suspension or oil solution. Next is advantages of a parenteral suspension. In this advantages part, there's a better for therapeutic use of the drug, that is insoluble and convention tolerant. Means according to therapeutic purpose or according to therapeutic value, these suspension are very good and having a more therapeutic effect and insoluble in convention solvents. And in this dosage form, there's an increased resistance to hydrolysis and oxidation as a drug present in a solid form. So there's a less chances, or you can say that it is resistance in nature for hydrolysis and oxidation, because solid particles are present in their suspension or your formulation. Though in this condition, there may be no hydrolysis and oxidation is observed, or there may be less chances of this oxidation and hydrolysis. Next is the formulation of a controlled release drug is possible. Means if you require controlled release type formulation, then you can also prepare the suspension. And there's an elimination of hepatic first pass effect. Elimination is observed with the help of hepatic side or hepatic first pass effect. Next is injectable emulsion after suspension, a small volume parenteral. And emulsion is a heterogeneous dispersion of one immiscible liquid in another. Emulsion, you know that this is a two-phase oil in water. So one heterogeneous dispersion of one immiscible liquid to another liquid, and it is a heterogeneous unstable system is made possible through the use of emulsifying agent which prevent the persistence of the dispersed droplet. Means these emulsion are mainly unstable form or you observe unstable form, and with to improve the formulation condition or it converted to in a stable form, we use emulsifying agent, and these emulsifying agents helps to prevent emulsion in a stable form and also prevent to coagulation and dispersion droplet of your system. And these parenteral emulsion are rare because it is necessary and difficult to achieve a stable droplet of less than 1 micrometer to prevent emboli in your blood vessel. Means these parenteral formulation or this is small volume formulation have less emulsion or very less formulation is available in emulsion form, because emulsion have a more stability problem, or it is difficult to maintain the stability condition, or maybe there's some particle present, so the particle size maintaining is also difficult, and the particle size is less than 1 micron in size. So you can difficult to handle or prevent this embolic blood vessels, and it is not necessary to achieve an emulsion for drug administration. So this is emulsion. It is having two liquid and one immiscible liquid, mixed with another liquid or heterogeneous dispersion is known. In this, it is having some problem of emulsifying. So to prevent this emulsifying problem with the help of emulsifying agent, and then it helps to prevent the coagulation as well as droplet or dispersion. And it have a particle size is less than 1 micron, so it is difficult to formulate, and less emulsion formulation for parenteral product is available. And if you are formulating this emulsion, then you should maintain the proper stability of your formulation. And it is given by intramuscular, subcutaneous, and intravenous route. These are the three routes that they use for administration of emulsion, that is IM, SC, and IV route. And oil in water such system are not used due to large interfacial area and rapid partitioning Oil in water type of the emulsion are less used or very rare is used, or maybe you can say that not used because it has some problem like interfacial area or rapid partitioning is observed. Next is water in oil. Emulsion are used for water soluble drug. If your drug is in water soluble, then you prepare your emulsion is on OW type or water in oil type emulsion. And multiple emulsion are used generally such as WOW and OWO. Since additional reservoir is present, the drug partitioning which can be effectively retard its release rate means when we see the OW and W, so largely WO is used and it is water soluble for water soluble drug and good stability condition, but OW is avoided due to some problem or rapid partitioning, or nowadays multiple emulsion is also formulating like water in oil in water and oil water in oil. So these three-phase emulsion is also have a more stability compared to OW type of the emulsion, and this is act as an additional reservoir and presented for drug partitioning, which have effectively retard its release rate. So these are a more appropriate and multiple emulsion form. Next is release of a water soluble drug can retard by presenting it as an oil suspension and vice versa. When so this release process of your drug or water soluble release process can be retarded or may be affected due to the presenting its oil suspension in nature and vice versa. And aqueous phase oil phase water soluble drug means aqueous as well as oil phase water soluble drug like 5-fluorouracil oil soluble drug and lipidol is the example of this. Next, fourth type for this small volume parenteral is dry powder. It is the last type of small volume parenteral. So these dry powder is available in a powder form or in a solid form. Before injecting this formulation, you should convert into solution form with the help of a suitable solution or solvent. And you dissolve this dry powder in a sterile condition or proper aseptic condition. So in dry powder, to overcome the intrinsic stability of a drug and reconsider it before use, means you should maintain intrinsic stability or it should be in a stable form, don't have any stability issue or any contamination or any unwanted foreign matter is present in your dry powder. And before using your drug constituent your dry powder, you convert it into solution form. Next is the production method or how we product dry powder form. First is drying, freeze drying method. Means with the help of this freeze drying, you can also formulate or manufacture this dry powder. And the next is aseptic sterilization and dry powder filling and spray drying. These are the three production method or three techniques that we use for production of the dry powder. In this dry sterile powder is aseptically added to a sterile vial. Means after manufacturing this dry powder, you filled in your vial or your container in an aseptic condition or you maintain proper sterilized condition while filling this powder in your vial or your container. Next is a dry drug powder is reconstituted with the sterile vehicle before use. Means before using or before injecting this dry powder, you convert it or reconstitute your powder with the help of some vehicle or some solvent or solution. And powder for injection are solid substance distributed in the final container and which is shaken with precise volume of the appropriate sterile liquid. Means these powder are filled in a vial and the specified condition or volume is also specified during filling. According to your requirement or according to your dose, you can take a specific amount of this powder in a proper condition or proper precaution is taken and don't contaminate, or you can take this in a septic condition. Or after taking this powder, you mix with your vehicle or with your solution or solvent, and after mixing you can shake your solution to uniform mixing, and after shaking you inject the prescribed volume or prescribed amount of the drug in a sterile condition. Next is rapidly form either clear and practically particle-free solution or uniform suspension. Means when you mix these powder with some vehicle or after dissolving, it should be in a clear solution or maybe practically particle-free solution, don't have any particle, or instead of a solution, it is also form a suspension. Next, sterilization process. This is a technique that is required for manufacturing of your parental product and how you manufacture these parental product. And in this sterilization product to process whether all viable life forms are either killed or removed. Means if there is any bacteria or life viable microbes or any other product or unwanted material which is present in the formulation, after sterilization it should be removed or killed. There's no any unwanted material or product is observed or viable life microorganism bacteria observed in the formulation, including a small volume as well as large volume parenterals. Next is in this sterilization process is usually the final stage in the preparation of the product. Means mainly you sterilize each and every step is requires sterilization, but the final step is very necessary. You should use this sterilization process as final stage, and after sterilizing just pack your product or your formulation. And the method of sterilization in regular use include exposure to saturated stream under the pressure, and dry heat ionizing radiation, ethylene oxide, or passage through a bacteria retaining filter. There's different technique used for the sterilization, with gases, maybe filtration, or some other gases, or maybe dry heat also used. So with the help of dry heat or maybe ionizing radiation or some radiation technique or some gases in this ethylene oxide and passage of a drug through retaining the bacteria. These techniques mainly used for sterilizing and sterilization of your formulation. And steam pressure is also used when moisture sterilization is also takes place for your powder or your all parental formulation, including small and large volume. These proper selection of the sterilization techniques depend on the type of the formulation or their stability, because some get degraded during a particular sterilization condition, and possible exposure to saturated steam under pressure, sterilized method of the choice. Next is a radiopharmaceutical. In this, radiopharmacy is concerned with manufacturing of a radioactive medicine known as radiopharmaceutical. When suppose you are preparing some radiopharmaceutical material or radio, is a radio active medicine, then there's a two application and two uses. As the aid to diagnose the disease, means mainly for diagnostic purpose, not for treatment. And diagnosing of radiopharmaceutical is used for diagnosing of particular disease. Next is in the treatment of a disease in this therapeutic radiopharmaceuticals. So these radiopharmaceuticals divided into two parts. One is a diagnostic radiopharmaceutical, second is therapeutic radiopharmaceutical. Diagnostic is used to diagnose some disease or some disorder, and that particular patient is suffering. Or therapeutic is mainly act as a treatment or some medication or your drug that helps to cure that disease or acts as a therapeutic effect provided to that particular patient. And in this diagnostic radiopharmaceuticals may be classified into two types. This diagnostic is again further divided into two types. In this, first is a radiopharmaceuticals used in a tracer technique for measuring physiological parameter. Means these radiopharmaceutics is divided by two types, or diagnostic is divided into two types. One is a tracer technique. In this tracer technique mainly used to check or trace the physiological parameter. Tetraacetic acid for measuring the glomerular filtration rate. Means this is mainly one radiopharmaceutical example of diagnostic radiopharmaceuticals. It's named diamine tetraacetic acid, and this is used to check the glomerular filtration rate, and this is mainly used to tracer. And radiopharmaceutical for diagnostic imaging in this 99 MTC methyl diphosphate, that is MDP, used to perform scanning. So this is another technique or another subtype of this diagnostic radiopharmaceutical. This is mainly used for diagnostic imaging, and in this example is used as a bone scanning, and this is the one radiopharmaceutical diagnostic. Next is a radiation protection, and there's a three basic principles of radiation protection. First is shielding. By placing the shielding around the radioactive source, the radiation dose rate may be reduced. Means you put some shielding condition or shield to protect this radioactive dose, or dose should be in a protected condition. Next is a distance. In this distance, the radiation dose from radioactive force is inversely proportional to square of the substance. Means it is inversely proportional to some of the condition, or this is radiation dose, which is a condition that as radioactive force is inversely proportional to square of the substance. Next is the time. Time is minimizing the time spent handling, and radioactive source will reduce the radiation dose. So this is a time which should minimize and expand our handling condition of radioactive substance or reduce the radiation dose. So after completing this topic or formulation of small and large volume character, including sterilization and radiopharmaceutical, we should know about this learning of outcome or learning basic learning outcomes. What are the parental dosage form, complete or descriptive introduction of the formulation, consideration of these parental dosage form, and how different dosage form are prepared, means how we manufacture these parental dosage form, and about the large and small volume parental, means description of both small and large volume parentals. This is a reference for this topic. Ansel Pharmaceutical Dosage Form Drug Delivery System, 8th edition by Lois B. Ellen Nicholas, G. Popovich, Hava C. Ansel, published by VI Publication PVT Limited. Next reference is textbook of physical pharmaceutics by CBS Subramaniam, published by Balla Prakashan. And next is a theory and practice of industrial pharmacy by Leon and Lackman, Habels, L. Berman, Joseph L. King, 3rd edition, published by Vagrancy Publishing House. And next book is Martin Physical Pharmacy, Pharmaceutic Science, 5th edition by Patrick J. Simcoe, published by Littaford, William and Wilkin. So these references are all good for this parental, small as well as large volume parental, as well as a manufacturing introduction or complete description of this topic. After this question part we covered, or this question is related to parental product or today's topic. After completing this topic or easily understanding this complete topic, you can answer these questions. These questions are very simple. In this first question, a solvent that dissolve lyophilized powder or dilute a solution. In this, A option is diluent, B is a solvent, C is additive, D is admixture. So these we already discussed. Out of this 4 options, you can select any one correct option. Second is a method that maintain the sterility product, is aseptic technique, B is a bleaching, and C is a clean person, and D is the admixture. We already discussed this topic also. So for a sterility product condition, you can select any one correct option out of this 4 options. Next, third question is substance such as solution, bandage, baby water, nipples, etc. must be parental product to be sterile. How does ionizing radiation kill? C is the application of ionizing radiation. D is the quality assurance of the parental product. So these are the 4 options for third question. Next, fourth question, all oral solid dosage forms show A is the greatest chemical and microbial stability. B is a more impurity. C is a more administration problem. There is a more irritation. Now, in the fifth question, these are the more precise methods for determining the melting point that measure the phase change into characterizable data. A is the organoleptic property. B is a DSC and BTA. C is equilibrium solubility method. D is the sedimentation technique. And in sixth question, for weak bases, a decrease in a pH result in solubility. A is increase. B is a decrease. C is solubility. D is a dissolution. Next, in seventh question, what when a solution has a greatest osmolarity than that of the blood, is a hypertonic, B is hypotonic, C is isotonic, D is a tonic. And next, in eighth question, which of the following excipient may be used to limit the presence of microorganism in liquid formulation? A is a purified water, B is a sodium laudanum sulfate, C is benzopyrene chloride, and D is a and the solution has osmolarity equivalent to that of the blood. A is a hypotonic, B is isotonic, C is a hypertonic, and D is therapeutic. So next, last 10th question, when a solution has a lesser osmolarity than that blood have a hypotonic, A option, B is hypertonic, C is isotonic, and D is a tonic. So these are the 4 options for 10th question. You can answer these questions very easily. These all 10 questions are related to this parental product formulation, to this topic, as well as some introduction part of your parental product. And we already covered these all topic in today's lecture. And after completing this lecture, you can answer these questions. So thank you so much for watching and listening this video. Thank you everyone.